Hello and welcome to AI Pulse Trends, your channel for navigating the fascinating and sometimes turbulent currents of artificial intelligence and its impact on our world. And today we're diving into a topic that sits right at the intersection of technology, culture, and human identity: language. Think about this. Estimates suggest that roughly half of the world's approximately 7,000 languages are expected to disappear by the end of this century. That's a staggering potential loss of cultural heritage, unique ways of seeing the world, and invaluable human knowledge encoded within these linguistic systems. Now enter artificial intelligence, a technology evolving at breakneck speed, capable of processing, generating, and translating language like never before. The big question we're tackling today is a profound one. Will AI be the final nail in the coffin for endangered languages, accelerating their demise? Or could it paradoxically become their most powerful lifeline, offering unprecedented tools for preservation and revitalization? This isn't just an academic debate. It touches upon issues of cultural survival, digital equity, and the very future of human communication in an increasingly AI-driven world. The potential outcomes swing wildly between dystopian homogenization and a technologically assisted renaissance of linguistic diversity. So, in this deep dive, we'll explore both sides of this complex equation. First, we'll examine the potential threats, how AI, in its current trajectory, might inadvertently marginalize or even actively harm endangered languages. We'll look at data bias, the dominance of major languages, and the economic pressures at play. Then we'll shift focus to the immense potential, the exciting ways AI is already being used and could be used in the future to document, teach, translate, and ultimately breathe new digital life into languages spoken by dwindling communities. Finally, we'll discuss the crucial nuances and ethical considerations, emphasizing that the outcome isn't predetermined. It depends heavily on the choices we make now about how we develop and deploy AI technology. Stick around, because the future of thousands of languages might just hang in the balance, and AI is right at the heart of it. Let's start with the concerns. Why are linguists, anthropologists, and members of minority language communities worried about AI's impact? The threat: how AI could accelerate language death. The first major hurdle is data. Modern AI, especially the large language models or LLMs that power tools like ChatGPT, translation services, and voice assistants, are incredibly data hungry. They require massive amounts of text and speech data to learn patterns, grammar, and context. Where does this data primarily come from? The internet, digitized books, massive media archives, and overwhelmingly, this content is in dominant global languages: English, Mandarin, Chinese, Spanish, French, and a handful of others. Endangered languages, often primarily spoken rather than written, with limited digital presence and few resources for large-scale digitization, are vastly underrepresented. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. AI models trained predominantly on dominant languages perform best in those languages. Consequently, AI tools and applications are developed for these languages first, reinforcing their utility and dominance. If you're a speaker of a minority language, you might find that the latest AI assistant doesn't understand you, the best translation tools butcher your nuances, and generative AI can't create meaningful content in your mother tongue. This isn't necessarily malicious intent. It's often a consequence of resource allocation and data availability. But the effect is marginalization. AI becomes another domain where minority languages are excluded, potentially accelerating the shift towards dominant languages, especially among younger generations seeking access to technology and global information. Technology development is driven by economics. Companies invest in developing AI for languages with large user bases and significant market potential. Creating high-quality AI tools for a language spoken by only a few thousand people, many of whom may have limited access to the necessary technology or digital literacy, presents a much lower return on investment. This economic reality can create pressure on speakers of endangered languages to adopt dominant languages to fully participate in the digital world, access AI-powered services, and engage in online commerce or education. Imagine a scenario where essential government services, job opportunities, or educational resources increasingly rely on AI interfaces that only function well in the national or a global language. The incentive to abandon the heritage language, at least in crucial public domains, becomes immense. Furthermore, the very power of AI translation, while seemingly beneficial, can have a homogenizing effect. If AI can instantly translate anything into a dominant language, it might reduce the perceived need for outsiders to learn minority languages. It could also inadvertently flatten the unique cultural nuances and worldviews embedded within those languages. A perfect translation might convey the literal meaning but miss the cultural subtext, the historical echoes, the specific ways of structuring thought that make each language unique. AI might translate the words but lose the soul of the language. What happens when AI does try to operate in low-resource languages? Without sufficient, high-quality, culturally vetted data, the results can range from merely inaccurate to actively harmful. Imagine an AI attempting to generate educational materials in an endangered language but producing grammatically incorrect or culturally inappropriate content because its training data was flawed or insufficient. This could undermine trust in the technology and even in efforts to use digital tools for language learning. Consider AI moderation tools trained primarily on hate speech patterns in English. They might completely fail to detect harmful content or misinformation spread in a minority language, leaving communities vulnerable. Conversely, they might incorrectly flag innocuous phrases in an endangered language as offensive simply because the patterns don't match the dominant language data. There's also the risk of AI perpetuating existing biases present in the limited data it does have. If the available digitized texts in a minority language contain historical biases or stereotypes, the AI will learn and potentially amplify them, further damaging the language's perception or utility. AI models often learn a standard version of a language based on the most common patterns in their training data. But languages, especially spoken ones, are rich with dialects, variations, and evolving slang. Endangered languages often exhibit significant regional variation. An AI trained on limited data might favor one specific dialect, potentially marginalizing others, and contributing to an artificial, imposed standardization that ignores the language's living diversity. This digital standard might become seen as the correct version, further discouraging the use of other variants. Furthermore, the very structure of AI might struggle with linguistic features common in some endangered languages but rare in dominant ones, such as complex morphology, word structures, tonal variations, or unique grammatical concepts. The temptation for developers might be to simplify or ignore these features, leading to AI tools that fundamentally misrepresent or impoverish the language they claim to support. So the threat is real. It stems from data scarcity, leading to biased and ineffective AI, economic pressures favoring dominant languages, the risk of inaccurate or harmful outputs, the potential for AI translation to reduce the incentive to learn, and the tendency of AI to impose standardization and potentially miss crucial linguistic diversity and nuance. It paints a rather bleak picture for the future of endangered languages in the age of AI. But that's only half of the story. Now let's flip the coin. While the risks are significant, the potential for AI to act as a powerful force for language preservation and revitalization is equally, if not more, compelling. If developed and deployed thoughtfully, AI offers tools that previous generations of linguists and language activists could only dream of. One of the most immediate and impactful applications of AI is in documentation. Preserving a language often starts with recording it, capturing speech, transcribing oral histories, digitizing existing written materials. This is traditionally a painstaking, time-consuming process. AI, particularly advancements in natural language processing, NLP, and speech recognition, can dramatically accelerate this. Imagine AI tools that can automatically transcribe audio recordings of native speakers, even in noisy environments or with varying accents, though this requires specific model training. Help digitize an OCR, optical character recognition, old manuscripts, dictionaries, or grammars written in non-standard scripts. Analyze linguistic patterns within recorded speech or text to help linguists understand grammar, syntax, and vocabulary more quickly. Cross-reference recordings with phonetic databases to aid in accurate transcription and analysis. While human oversight and linguistic expertise remain crucial, AI can handle the sheer volume of work involved in creating comprehensive digital archives of endangered languages. This creates a foundation, a permanent record, that can be used for analysis, learning, and future revitalization efforts, even if the number of fluent speakers continues to decline. Projects like Google's Woolaroo, which helps digitize even handwritten dictionaries, showcase this potential. Keeping a language alive requires passing it on to the next generation. AI can revolutionize language learning, making it more engaging, personalized, and accessible, especially for diaspora communities or learners geographically separated from native speakers. Think about AI-powered applications that could offer interactive lessons tailored to individual learning paces and styles, provide pronunciation feedback using speech recognition trained on native speaker data, create conversational practice opportunities through AI chatbots that can simulate real-life dialogues, generate graded reading materials or simple stories based on the learner's current vocabulary level, gamify the learning process to make it more appealing to younger learners. These tools can supplement traditional teaching methods or provide learning opportunities where none existed before. For languages with few fluent speakers left to act as teachers, AI tutors could become invaluable resources, helping to bridge the intergenerational transmission gap. They can provide consistent practice and exposure that might otherwise be impossible to achieve. While we discussed the potential homogenizing effect of translation earlier, there's a powerful positive side too. High-quality AI translation between endangered languages and dominant ones can be incredibly empowering. Consider these benefits. Access to information. Speakers of endangered languages could access vital information online, news, health advice, educational resources, translated into their native tongue. Access to services. AI translation could enable speakers to interact with essential services, healthcare, government, legal aid, without needing a human interpreter, which is often unavailable or costly. Inter-community communication. It can help speakers of different endangered languages communicate with each other, fostering solidarity and shared learning. Connecting diaspora. Translation tools can help younger generations in diaspora communities, who may not be fluent, connect with elders and cultural resources in the heritage language. The key here is quality and context. AI translation needs to be accurate and culturally sensitive. Critically, it should be seen as a tool to augment communication and access, not replace the need for language learning and use within the community itself. Developing these tools often requires close collaboration with native speakers to ensure accuracy and appropriateness. For a language to thrive in the modern world, it needs a digital presence. People need to be able to use it online, create content in it, and see it reflected in the digital tools they use daily. AI can significantly lower the barrier to creating this digital footprint. AI tools, particularly generative AI, could be adapted to generate simple texts, news summaries, social media posts, educational materials, children's stories in the target language, assuming sufficient training data or fine-tuning. Assist in creating digital resources. Help build online dictionaries, grammatical resources, or even basic software localization. Develop predictive text and virtual keyboards, making it easier for speakers to type and communicate digitally in their language on smartphones and computers. Synthesize speech, text-to-speech, creating audio versions of written materials, voice assistants, or narration for videos, increasing accessibility and normalizing the sound of the language in digital contexts. This AI-assisted content creation can help fill the digital void, making the language more visible and usable online, which is crucial for engaging younger speakers and demonstrating the language's relevance in the 21st century. Beyond documentation, AI can be a powerful analytical tool for linguists and community leaders working on revitalization strategies. AI algorithms can analyze large corpora of language data to identify subtle grammatical rules, patterns of language change, or dialectal variations, track language usage trends online or in digital communications, with appropriate privacy safeguards to understand where and how the language is being used or where it's declining. Help identify the most effective teaching methods by analyzing learner data from AI-powered educational apps. Model language evolution scenarios to help communities prioritize revitalization efforts, for example, focusing on domains where the language is weakest. This data-driven approach can make revitalization efforts more targeted and effective, moving beyond anecdotal evidence to strategic interventions based on robust analysis. So the potential for AI as a force for good is immense, accelerating documentation, creating personalized learning tools, bridging communication gaps through translation, enabling digital content creation, and providing powerful analytical insights for revitalization strategies. It offers a technological toolkit that could empower communities fighting to keep their languages alive. The nuance, ethics, and the path forward. The reality is that AI is neither inherently a killer nor a savior of endangered languages. It's a powerful dual-edged sword. Its ultimate impact, positive or negative, depends critically on how it's developed, who controls it, and what priorities guide its deployment. Perhaps the single most important factor is community involvement. AI tools for language preservation cannot be effectively or ethically developed in a top-down manner by tech companies or external researchers alone. The communities whose languages are at stake must be central partners in the process. This means co-design. Community members should be involved in deciding what tools are needed, how they should function, and what data is used. Data sovereignty. Communities should have control over their linguistic data. How is it collected? Where is it stored? Who gets to use it? How is privacy protected? How are benefits shared? These are critical questions. Using language data without consent or benefit sharing risks, becoming a form of digital colonialism. Cultural appropriateness. Only community members can ensure that AI tools respect cultural norms, avoid biases, and accurately reflect the nuances of their language and worldview. Capacity building. Efforts should focus on empowering communities to use and even develop AI tools themselves, rather than remaining passive recipients. Projects that prioritize genuine collaboration and respect data sovereignty are far more likely to be beneficial and sustainable. Ignoring the community risks creating tools that are ineffective, unwanted, or even harmful. Beyond community involvement, several ethical considerations must be addressed. Accuracy and reliability. Releasing inaccurate AI translation or learning tools can do more harm than good, eroding trust and spreading incorrect information about the language. Rigorous testing and validation involving native speakers are essential. Bias mitigation. Conscious effort is needed to identify and mitigate biases in the training data and algorithms. This might involve augmenting limited data sets, using specialized techniques for low-resource languages, and continuous auditing of AI performance. Accessibility. AI tools are only useful if the community can access them. This involves considering factors like internet connectivity, device availability, digital literacy, and affordability. Solutions need to be context appropriate. An advanced AI app requiring high bandwidth is useless in a remote community without internet. Preserving orality. Many endangered languages have rich oral traditions. While digitization is important, efforts should also support and respect the living, spoken nature of the language. AI shouldn't solely focus on text at the expense of orality. Perhaps AI can help create tools for practicing storytelling or specific oral genres. Avoiding over-reliance, AI should be seen as a supplement to, not a replacement for, human interaction and traditional methods of language transmission. The goal is to empower speakers, not make the language solely dependent on technology. The human element, conversation, community, cultural practice remains paramount. Realizing the positive potential of AI for endangered languages requires dedicated resources and investment. This likely won't come primarily from large commercial tech companies driven by profit motives alone, although their technology can be leveraged. We need public funding. Governments and international organizations recognizing linguistic diversity as a global good should fund research and development in low-resource language AI. Non-profit initiatives, NGOs and foundations focused on cultural heritage or digital equity can play a crucial role in supporting community-led AI projects. Academic research, universities are vital hubs for developing specialized AI techniques for low-resource languages and partnering ethically with communities. Open source models. Promoting open-source AI models and tools can make the technology more accessible and adaptable for specific language needs. Without deliberate investment and policy decisions prioritizing linguistic diversity, the default economic forces favoring dominant languages will likely prevail. Ultimately, AI is a tool, a very powerful one, but still a tool. The future of endangered languages doesn't rest solely on algorithms. It rests on human agency. It depends on the choices made by speakers, communities, linguists, policymakers, and AI developers. Will communities embrace these tools and integrate them into holistic revitalization strategies? Will developers prioritize ethical collaboration and low-resource language support? Will funders allocate resources equitably? AI can provide powerful assistance, but the will, the effort, and the passion to keep a language alive must come from the people themselves. Technology can support transmission, but it cannot replace the fundamental human desire to communicate in one's heritage tongue, to share stories, and to maintain a unique cultural identity. So back to our central question. Will AI kill or preserve dying languages? The answer, as we've seen, is complex and contingent. It's not a simple yes or no. AI presents significant risks: the dominance of major languages in data and development, economic pressures leading to homogenization, the potential for inaccurate or biased outputs, and the risk of reducing the perceived need for learning minority languages. If left unchecked, AI could indeed accelerate the decline of linguistic diversity, creating a more technologically advanced but culturally impoverished world. However, AI also offers unprecedented hope. Powerful tools for documentation and archiving, personalized and accessible language learning platforms, translation services that can bridge communication gaps and provide access to information, assistance in creating a vital digital presence, and sophisticated data analysis to guide revitalization efforts. If developed and deployed ethically, collaboratively, and with a clear focus on empowering communities, AI could become one of the most valuable allies in the fight to save endangered languages. The trajectory is not set in stone. The impact of AI on language evolution will be shaped by conscious decisions, ethical frameworks, community leadership, and targeted investment. It requires a shift from purely market-driven AI development towards a more human-centric approach that values cultural heritage and linguistic diversity as essential components of our shared humanity. The challenge lies in harnessing the immense power of AI thoughtfully, ensuring it serves humanity in all its diversity rather than inadvertently flattening it. The future of thousands of languages could depend on getting this balance right. What are your thoughts on this? Do you lean more towards AI being a threat or a lifeline for endangered languages? Have you seen any examples of AI being used for language preservation in your own communities or regions? Let us know in the comments below. This is a conversation worth having. If you found this exploration insightful and want to stay updated on how AI is reshaping our world, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives into the latest AI trends and their societal impacts. Thanks so much for joining us today on AI Pulse Trends. We believe understanding these technological shifts is crucial for navigating the future. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.